success of Sonic the Hedgehog in the early 90s came a wave of animal mascot video games. Some were more successful than others, but most featured anthropomorphized cool dudes with attitude. One game that bucked that trend was Ecco the Dolphin. In contrast to other smirking wisecrackers, Ecco looked and behaved much like an actual dolphin. Creator Ed Annunziata was taken with the creatures after reading about them in real life, and wanted to depict them in all their glory in a digital format. Early suggestions for names included Delphinus and even Botticelli, but they eventually landed on Ecco as a nod to the creature's echolocation abilities, as well as a loose Italian translation of I see. Annunziata brought Ecco to life with lush undersea graphics, paired with an ambient soundtrack inspired by one of his favorite bands, Pink Floyd. While Ecco may look realistic compared to Sonic, his adventure was anything but, allowing players to communicate with whales, absorb the powers of magic glyphs, and even travel through time. Ecco went on to become one of the best-selling games on the Genesis, and we're about to find out why on today's episode. Join us as we venture into the deep sea to discover what happened to our pod. It's a video game podcast.
Wow.
And there's so much to discuss. One of us knows all about them.
That's you.
And the other one's a dunce.
That's me.
You're gonna learn about the very best games with two annoying dorks.
Fatality.
From asteroids to Zelda, from adventure to Zork. We have no life, and we feel no shame. We need your help, 'cause we're bad with games. Welcome to the show. My name is Jonathan.
My name is Will.
And we are Bad with Games.
Picking up where we left off last week here.
Yes, for anyone who missed it, we're talking about Ecco the Dolphin, which is a Genesis game from 1992. Now, we started this last week. Unfortunately, we had so much to say about Ecco the Dolphin that we had to extend it into a two-part episode.
Right. Yeah, it was unfortunate, but that's the way it is. The great thing about our schedule is that it allows us to do things like this. We get some flexibility.
Yeah, that's the great thing about our schedule.
It's great, I would say.
So you're going to want to go listen to part one probably to really, because otherwise you might miss out on some of the finer points of what we're talking about here today.
Right. I would want to if it were me, for sure.
Last week we really dove into the lore, our personal lore with Ecco the Dolphin. You know how we hadn't played it before, but we'd heard of it.
Right, yeah. And some
that's
other stuff too.
Just a brief recap.
Right. There's more background, but you can listen to hear about that.
You should go listen. A lot more stuff happened. I also just need to warn people again, I'm a little under the weather. What does that saying mean? Under the weather? What's that mean?
Well, like as opposed to if you were God and you stood above the weather.
Or you could be in an airplane or something.
I guess that's true. I feel like God when I'm in an airplane.
Yeah, you feel like God too often, I think. So I'm a little bit sick. It's a little bit busy. I don't know. Maybe my energy will be low today. You're going to have to pick up some of the slack to get us through another dolphin-filled episode.
Oh, no.
It's on you.
It's all on me. Ecco the Dolphin.
Yeah.
Do you have things to...
I usually like to remind people that we're on YouTube, Bad with Games. We're also an audio podcast if you want to listen. But otherwise, you can watch our footage, youtube.com/@badwithgames. And we have a Patreon, patreon.com/badwithgames. We're currently riding high. It's K-April. So if you want to hear our K-April K.A. Applegate discussion, you got to go over to the Patreon. All right. So...
Yeah. See? You still managed to pull that off, even though you're sick.
Sure. Should we just get right into the box art breakdown? Because that's kind of where we left off last week. We're right about to get into the box art breakdown.
Yeah, I think that's about where we were, right? We done the lore. I think it's about time to look at this box art.
So Echo the Dolphin, again, this is a sort of an action adventure game for the Sega Genesis / Mega Drive. It was ported to numerous other platforms as well. We're looking at the Genesis box art right now, which depicts Echo himself, I assume.
That's
Really
definitely
know.
him. No, he's got his
Right.
characteristic stars.
Right. I forgot that part. And he is jumping, splashing out of the water in midair, and in the background is another dolphin and also a shark.
And
some fish.
Yeah.
And this is, of course, a little box picture against the black grid of a Genesis game. Kind of a strange. It's like, oh, happy, cute dolphins flying and having fun, and also there's a shark 4 feet behind it, looking ready to kill it.
Yeah. I mean, is this an action sequence? Are they running from the shark? But they kind of look playful.
Yeah.
Maybe they're attacking it. They're kind of surrounding that shark.
Yeah, they're flanking it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you like this box art?
It's okay. The 90s did have a lot of that kind of, that like dolphin aesthetic, right? Like
Lisa
posters
Frank.
or yeah. That's exactly what I'm thinking of. This is some of that. I mean, it is distinctively not that. Like the colors are a little bit darker rather than like very bright and cartoony, but they're bright in their own right, but they're not like Lisa Frank bright. And there's maybe does this dolphin look more like defined or muscular in some way, would you say?
All right, well, I mean, maybe last week we got a little too things might have gotten a little crazy, but I will say, I mean, it looks slippery. I'm going to say that. It looks moist. It looks shiny. Its skin glistens in the dew. In the dew.
Yeah, I gotta say, these are not how these stars look very. I don't know, like the things you stick to your bedroom ceiling kind of a star. They don't look
Well, we
like.
should explain for anyone who doesn't know. One of Echo's defining features is that he has like a birthmark or something.
I guess, yeah, some kind of a mark on his forehead.
Like Harry Potter. It looks like 5. I actually forgot this. Can you actually see these in the game? Because I didn't even remember this.
I kind of looked, but like your forehead does look kind of white, but it's hard to tell because like it's so pixelated and some parts of your skin are just different colors for lighting purposes, and also the other dolphins in the game don't like show you their head a lot, so it's hard to compare. So I don't know is the answer.
Okay.
It's not like really obvious.
But they're there. It's something he had. Supposedly, I believe it's supposed to look like the constellation Delphinus, or however you're supposed to say that. I assume, because they say it in the story in the manual, it says that they shine and match some stars in the sky. And I think that's the idea. He's like the chosen dolphin. Anyway, my problem with this picture is not enough contrast. It's blue on blue on blue on blue. I need a little orange in there, you know?
Yeah, some orange or maybe some kind of like a rosy sunset or something behind it.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that is because I was going to comment on the sky here looking like maybe the wrong time of day, and I wasn't quite sure why, but I think that might be part of it, right? Like, we like to portray dolphins as kind of blue, even though they're actually more gray. We've got this blue water, we've got this blue sky. If it were nighttime, at least the sky would be like a darker color, or if it were dawn or sunset, you could get those oranges, those pinks. I don't know.
We're on Blue Sky at Bad with Games. Follow us now.
Holy shit. The sea could be wine dark or whatever.
There could be more tropical fish under the water, just adding more color, but
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Coral, maybe?
it's like a well illustrated piece. You know, it's not
Mm-hmm.
like it looks professional. It looks nice, and it sells the game. It tells you what's going on. There's a dolphin.
Yeah.
I mean, this is pretty much what the game looks like as this picture. So
Yeah.
it does its job.
It's fine. Yeah, it's as far as, generic dolphin imagery from the 90s goes. I mean, it does stand out against the other ones as a distinctive style, but it doesn't stand out as like a whoa, that's crazy compared to everything else I'm seeing. It's like, okay, yeah, that's one of the dolphin things you can get.
Yeah, I guess if you were to see this on the shelf at the store amidst the sea of more cartoony fare,
Mhm.
it probably does stand out in that way.
That could be. That could be. Yeah, I mean, like, listen, if you're a dolphin girl, if you're a dolphin kid, whatever, and you
Yeah,
might
thank
you
you
might
for
be
not
like, oh,
gendering
look.
it. There were plenty of dolphin boys out there too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We talked about one of them last week. And
There's
today
a reason
we're
people
dolphin
don't talk about
boys.
them. We are.
Yeah. We're dolphin boys, and we're going to talk about Ecco the Dolphin. Not just any dolphin, the
Mhm.
dolphin. I mean, this is
What's Echo? Is the dolphin.
It does clearly seem to be attempting to mimic the format of Sonic the Hedgehog. Because this is like a year after that game became a huge hit. We're on the Sega Genesis. The gameplay is very different, but it does kind of feel like from a marketing perspective, Sega was saying, hey, animals are our thing now. Good graphics, animal game. Sonic the Hedgehog, what else can we do? Ecco the Dolphin, boom, signed, do it.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
the
know.
feeling I get.
There are definitely some similarities between this and Sonic, for sure. I don't know if I see that one, because I do feel like that's just like name and then define what he is like that just feels like
Yeah,
a
but what
normal
else
thing. That
does
doesn't feel
that?
like
I can't think of many other, like there's plenty of animal mascot games, but how many are blank the blanks?
I
Is it
guess I don't know.
Spyro the Dragon? I think it's just
Yeah.
Spyro.
Oh, maybe
Isn't
it is Spyro. But if I said yeah, Spyro the Dragon, you would know what it was. It wouldn't you
Well,
wouldn't be like,
yeah.
that's not what it's called. Like, that's just a phrase you could use, even if the other ones don't use it. I don't know.
I'm looking it up. No, it is Spyro the Dragon. That is the name of the first game. But that was later. I mean, that was like 5 years later. So
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe because like he's not very cartoony is the thing. Like if you were trying to follow the Sonic formula, you wouldn't just be like animal and then you call it animal or name the animal. You would be all like make him more cartoony, make it more like this. It does feel like I don't know. Like just the fact that they called it that doesn't imply anything to me.
I think it's something. I think it's not part of it.
Hmm.
Somebody had to be thinking about that. Like it's just too soon after Sonic was a huge hit for them to
It's
not
possible.
be thinking about it a little bit in the marketing
Yeah.
department.
Yeah, I mean that it's true. That could be on their mind to some degree, just in terms of what sounds good or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think the game itself.
Yeah, I mean there are some within the game. There are some similarities to Sonic, and I don't know how much of this is just all Genesis games, and how much of them this is them saying like this was a feature of Sonic. People like to do it again. But we'll get into that when we talk about the game.
Yeah, this is our second time playing a Genesis game, or Mega Drive for you in the UK.
Ugh.
And I would say hallmarks of Genesis games for the time, like the generally speaking, better graphics than Super Nintendo. That's sort of subjective because they're like better in some ways, better at doing certain things, a little flashier maybe.
Yeah, like what's the phrase? Like higher fidelity or something? I don't know. Like
Sure.
there is an objective way in which they are better. It's just that like is that actually better? Or
I think they're
depends on
better
the
at
game.
doing like moving backgrounds and certain effects and things.
Don't they have more, like, pixels or colors or some shit like that? Like, they're more
Maybe.
bits or
I
something?
don't remember.
It
It is.
feels like
It's the same. I believe it's the same amount of bits.
Oh, okay, it is the same amount of bits. Interesting.
They're both 16-bit systems, IIRC.
Mm.
But they have different processing units, different. It's
Uh-huh.
not like today where everything's a computer and they all basically work exactly the same way.
Okay.
And the same goes for the sound chips. Like the music in a Genesis game, I think, has a pretty distinct sound to it versus a Super Nintendo game.
Interesting.
I'll
have to pay attention to that. Yeah, I mean, only having played 2 Genesis games, with relatively distinctive soundtracks on their own, like, even compared to other, games on the platform, it's harder for me to tell exactly what that distinction would be, but I'll try to pay attention for that.
Sure. I feel like they're a little bassier, like a little funkier usually. Kind of a little, I want to say chunky.
Interesting. And this is a quality of the system, not like the composing teams.
Correct. I mean, it's I think there's something like the actual way it sounds, and I think because of that, the composing teams, like they used the strengths of the sound chips they were given to produce their music. So like their music ended up sounding a certain way because of the capabilities of the stuff. I don't know the technical reasons.
Sure.
But generally speaking, that's the case,
I thought you were
to my
supposed to be the
understanding.
expert here.
I
You're
know.
supposed to teach me, learn me all my facts.
Ecco the Dolphin. So I have played this game before, but
Okay.
Again, to reiterate, I didn't grow up with a Sega Genesis. I didn't play this until I was an adult, and I didn't play it very much. I think I messed around with like the first level. Like, I think that's it. So this was the first time I really dug into this game. Only knew that the reason this is in this season really is because, well, this is a big Genesis game, and I wanted to give the Genesis some more love next to the Super Nintendo, not just in terms of Sonic the Hedgehog. And I felt like, well, this kind of is one of the big hallmark sellers and games people remember from the Genesis.
Big Genesis game, not as much of a legacy as the other big games of the era in terms of, like, I don't know, the Echo franchise. I guess there were other Echoes technically, but it's not. You wouldn't put Echo up there with Sonic and Mario and all that.
Sure. Yeah, there's one sequel, and then there's Echo Junior, which is like a kid's version. And then there was a Dreamcast Echo game. I don't know anything about that. Now, they did just announce that they are doing a reboot. I think they're remaking the first game, and they're also doing a new sequel now in 2026. But we don't know anything about those. So there's kind of been an effort on Sega's part, I think, these days to sort of recapture some of their big franchises from back in the day. And this is one of those. But that, in some ways, that maybe is more impressive, right? That with only two real main games, that this lived on in people's memory, this game.
Yeah, I mean, well, like I talked about last time, like, I have heard of Echo, right? Like, I didn't know anything about it before I played it. I didn't know any, really, I didn't know. I don't think I'd seen footage. I just knew there was a dolphin game with a dolphin called Echo. But like, I'd heard of it, and I'd heard of it for quite some time. So,
well, here's the
people
deal
do
for folks. For anyone who doesn't know, if you're not watching our gameplay footage right now, you play as Ecco the Dolphin, you move around under the water, and essentially each level of the game is kind of a maze/puzzle arena where you need to find the exit, which usually involves you. There will be barricades, which are these purple crystals called glyphs, and you'll need to find another glyph that gives you the key to push that glyph out of the way. Sometimes you'll need to use starfish or other things in the environment to progress through barricades and find your way to the exit. There are enemies, there's sharks and all kinds of stuff that will try to get you. You have sonar that you can use, which can also give you a map of the area. Or you can charge into enemies to attack them. And you also need to breathe. You are a dolphin. So you will need to occasionally surface above the water. So you have a life meter and an air meter. And if either of those runs out, you die and you start the level over again. There's no saves, but there's a password system.
If the air meter runs out, you start taking damage to your life meter.
Right.
You can run out of air that you just don't want to.
You're right. That's true. Yes. And so I'm really curious what you're going to say about this game. Because I've never discussed this game with anyone. I've never played it for any great amount of time before now. It's generally very highly regarded, this game, I think. But I don't know if it still is. Or is it one of those things where, for the time it was great, and I don't know how people think it holds up now. It's just not something that I have ever really discussed with a modern human being. So this is going to be an interesting podcast.
I have a suspicion as to how most people might nostalgically remember this game as being great, and my suspicion is that most people who loved this game as a kid experienced it the same way you did.
The same way I did?
In the sense of, I suspect that a lot of people played this game, really loved swimming around as a dolphin in level 0, and that's really all they remember about it. And that was most of their experience playing it as a kid. And that was why it sold, and that was why they loved it. That's my suspicion.
There are something like 30 levels in the game, something like that. Most of them are very short, though. It's a weird thing where a lot of these levels are, if you know where to go, you can beat them in 1 minute. And if you don't, maybe it takes you an hour or 20 minutes or whatever. There's also a few levels early on where you have to rescue dolphins. You don't have to, it's actually optional. But most of the levels don't really have any kind of goal other than just find the end. Just get out. There are a few boss fights throughout the game. We can talk about those. But for the most part, combat in this game is not really...
Yeah, no, it's not really... to me, this game is closer to a puzzle game than anything else.
Yeah. I was going to ask, how do you characterize the genre of this? Because I feel like of all the games we've covered so far, this might be one of the more inscrutable in that sense.
Yeah. I mean, inscrutable is a good word for this game. I'm going to tell you right now, I did not get far at all in this game. I'm going to tell you right now, there was a point at which I got stuck after having played for an hour and a half, and I went and watched somebody do a playthrough of it, and guess how long it took him to get to the hour and a half mark for me?
2 minutes?
Yeah, well, it was 3 minutes, but that include the 1 minute credits. I found that a lot of this game... A lot of the mechanics in this game are very unintuitive, and they aren't explained well within the game, and the manual does not explain them either. And so a lot of times I was just what I found was a puzzle game in which I often didn't know what the puzzle was. Right? It wasn't that I didn't know how to solve it, it was that I didn't know what the goal was. And I found that to be the case a lot of the time. I also found it really hard to control. So there were also puzzles, because you said, well, if you know how to do it, you could do it in a minute, but if you don't know, it could take you an hour. Yeah, what I found was that hour minimum if you don't know how to do it, and if you do know how to do it, it's 30 seconds to do on your first try, but you probably don't have better than a 1 in 5 to actually do it. Right, you probably have to loop through the whole level 5 times before you've managed to successfully do the simple task that you had to do. I found myself in positions where it was I just need to move a rock 10 tiles from point A to point B, but if you miss, then you're fucked. You have to leave and come back and reset it. and I would just have to leave and come back and reset it 5 to 10 times to move it 5 tiles from point A to point B. Even if you knew that's what you were trying to do, which it was not obvious what you were trying to do or how anything worked or what anything did. So I found the game to it was as a puzzle game, I basically thought that this is like the cardinal sin of all puzzle games is like when you either don't even know what the puzzle is you're supposed to solve. As a like there are times in Monkey Island when I don't know how to go forward, but I always know what I would need, right? Like if only I could do this, I could progress, but how do I do this? And it's just like what is the thing that I need to do in order to progress? I don't know a lot of the time. And the other cardinal sin being I know exactly what I need to do, but I can't do it. In other words, the like verb hunt in a text adventure. And I found that this game was almost exclusively those two things in terms of the like puzzle aspect.
I mean, I would almost call, because it is sort of a puzzle game, but every puzzle in the game really is just how do you get through thing, find
Mhm.
thing, and take it to thing. It's like it's almost like just a series of doors with different kinds of keys to the point where they almost I don't even know if they even count as puzzles. They're just like because that's what it always is, right? Every single time the
It
puzzle is
is.
how do I
Yeah.
get through the wall? Well, you got to find the key.
Yeah.
And the key will take different forms, but like that's it basically.
That's well sort of except that I don't always know what wall I need to get through, right?
Yeah.
Like I'll tell you the part that I had to look up. It was literally so okay, so you start off in this giant pool where you can do whatever. Let's call that level 0, right? Would you call that level 0 level 1? You don't
Uh,
even need air. There's nothing to do. You don't need air.
yeah, I don't know what it's officially referred to as, but sure, the
Yeah.
opening level.
There's that opening bit. Then you've got your first actual level where you have to find some glyphs. At the very beginning of the next one where I was stuck an hour and a half in.
Is this the one where there's a wall of rocks and you have to push a spike through them?
Yes, but I had not gotten that far because there are two paths you can go, right? One of them has a current that pushes you back so you can't swim through it, and the other one has a bunch of spiky creatures that hurt you if you hit them. Except you can attack them, except that the attack hitboxes are so bad that sometimes when you attack them, you just get hurt and you don't actually destroy them. So what had happened was I tried to attack those and I got hurt. And I was like, I guess I can't attack them. What can I do? Nothing. Maybe I'm supposed to swim through the current? Can't do that either. And so it wasn't even like, well, all you had to do was attack the thing that was in your way. But like, that didn't work. So like, I don't know because that's not the only way to go. Maybe the other way is the way to go. Right? And so I don't know. And it turns out that other way you just can't go through. You can only go back. You can't go forward there. But I don't know that. So like this is the problem is that like at almost every single point there will be like 4 or 5 points per level where it's just like I have no clue what I'm supposed to be doing. Like I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing. I might be on totally the wrong thing because in addition to finding these things, there are also these like maze elements that you have to find your way through. So sometimes it's like, I'm trying to go through that path because I think that's right. Turns out it's completely wrong. I was supposed to be trying to go through this path. But since I don't know how to get through either of them, for all I know, I could get through like, I don't know. I just have no idea. I have no clue what I'm even supposed to do. All paths are blocked and only one of them is solvable, but they all look equally unsolvable. You know, this was basically my experience.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't call like that section you're talking about a puzzle per se. I would say that's more just the mechanics not making themselves clear to you.
Yeah. But like the thing is, it's not clear to me that it's not a puzzle. Right? Like you're right that all I had to do was knock through those things, but if I've got a barrier that I can't pass on one side of things that I can interact with but can't pass, and a barrier on the other side that's pushing me back, And I know that there are times where I might push a rock around, or I might touch a glyph, or I might, you know what I mean? Or something like this. Then maybe there is a puzzle to be solved to go one of the two directions. But there wasn't. See,
Right.
again, this is the problem. At no point did I even know what I was supposed to do to progress, much less how to do it.
Yeah, and look, I'm not gonna,
Mm,
I'm not gonna say you're completely. I'm sympathetic to what you're saying right
yeah.
now.
I mean, I'll tell you, when I went to look at that walkthrough, I was very pleased to discover that it was full of comments saying, "This guy got farther in 5 minutes than I ever did in the entirety of my childhood." Like, I owned this game, it was my favorite game, I played it forever. I got farther than those people. I like to think of myself as, average to maybe a little bit subpar for an 8-year-old at games, and I think that getting stuck immediately in the second level is approximately how well I would expect an 8-year-old to do at this game.
There's a quote from the creator of the game where he says, "Quote: I was paranoid about game rentals and kids beating the game over the weekend, so I made it hard." That's the quote. Um, and yes, this is a difficult game.
Mhm.
Now, the parts that I was gonna call difficult come after the section you're talking about.
They probably come after the as far as I got, to be honest with you.
But I will say, for me, I spent probably more time in this game on like the first few levels than I did with all of the later ones.
Hmm.
I think they're very front loaded in terms of how annoying they are. I shouldn't say that. There's some very annoying stuff throughout, but like specifically in there's early levels where you have to rescue dolphins. Did you at least get to the dolphin rescue
I
levels?
got to the dolphin rescue, and I did rescue one dolphin, but I couldn't find the other ones, and I gave up.
Yeah, so I'm going to tell you right now. I turned to a guide for this because
Mhm.
I found it very annoying. I couldn't find these dolphins. I used the guide. I had no, as we know, I don't have shame about this like some people. Um, and but I spent a long time even with the guide trying to navigate that section.
Mm.
And after that, like that's what I was saying, where all the other levels, those are the only ones where you really have like something you have to figure out in terms of, oh, I need to find a dolphin and guide it back home and all this stuff. All of the later ones are just get to the end. They're much simpler in
Mhm.
terms of your actual goal. So that was more of my hurdle right there. I also think it's straight. So if you rescue these dolphins early on, you are rewarded with an upgraded sonar, and so you can use your sonar to defeat enemies. And
Mm.
it's optional. You can totally skip this, but in my opinion, it's not optional. Like it,
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
if you don't get this ability, then the rest of the game will be much harder for you. And really feels like, there's a Lion King game on the Super Nintendo that is kind of notorious for, it's on the Genesis as well, I guess. I don't know if it was the same game, but notorious for its second level being extremely hard. And this was the case with a lot of games of this era, where it comes back to what Ed Annunziata said in that quote about being afraid of kids renting a game and beating it in one weekend, is they
Mhm.
would just make like the second level really hard to make sure you had to buy the game to get past it. And I think there is a little bit of that in Echo, where it's like
Mm.
all this stuff up front that's so complicated. And then once I got through that, a lot of levels, I was like, oh man, there's so many levels. But a lot of times I would beat them in a few minutes compared to the first few where I was stuck on them forever.
Mhm.
But it
I
would,
could
yeah.
see that being a thing, and I could see that, but the problem for me is that that is going to make me just be like, well, I guess I'm stuck here, and like, because I don't know that it's going to get easier. My assumption is it's going to get harder. So at a certain point, because like, so like I said, I had already watched a video to get through a section by the time I was finding those dolphins. The reason I never watched a video to find out, or read a guide or anything to find out where the dolphins were, was because my issue with it wasn't that I couldn't navigate. My issue was that I was like, well, I can sort of map out these tunnels and see where they go. And I can tell that I'm somewhere between like a half to two-thirds of the way done mapping them out. The problem is that it's so tedious, and a large part of why it's so tedious is the mechanics. Because I also found it really, really hard to control Echo. Like, even going slow, something about moving in the water and the fact that you're drifting. It's similar to like how Mario keeps moving after you let go. Like, you just drift in these weird ways. Uh, and so, like, you would end up in this position where it's like, to begin mapping out these corridors, you have to swim down this vent with water pressure pushing you up. So the only way to do it is to push a rock down and then to stay on the other side of the rock as you're pushing the rock down. And getting the rock to the right side of the vent for the tunnels that I needed to check and staying behind it and getting up the tunnel that I needed to, again, maybe 1 in 5 to succeed. So if I'm like, there's another tunnel I want to try, I'm going to have to shoot all the way back up to the top and then try to go down and then try to go down and then try to go down and then try to go down, and then I get to explore that tunnel. Okay, cool. I explored it. It turns out it was a dead end, but there are 3 more branches. I'm going to have to try to go down, try to go down, try to go down, try to go down, try to go down. Now I can try the next branch. And at a certain point I was just like, I just don't care to do this anymore. Like, I could do it. Like, I don't need, it's not like I've looked everywhere and I don't know where to go. It's not like I'm lost. I have additional places I could keep going. It's just, it's so aggravating that I just can't get the dolphin to go there.
Well,
Like, why can't I
let's
just swim there?
let's talk about. This is something that I was thinking about while playing this. Is that I'm not sure. Tell me if you remember otherwise, but I think that
Hmm.
other than Mario games,
Hmm.
this might be the first game we've really played with water levels in it on this show.
Hmm. Could be. Could be, yeah.
And even in Mario, like in Mario 3 or Mario World, I don't know, you probably didn't even see a water level.
Yeah, in Mario World, I played a water level when we played together. And I remember having a lot of difficulty with it, but in original Mario Brothers, I remember thinking that it was actually not too bad. There was something very subtly different. Echo as a water level feels fundamentally different from Mario as a water level. It's like completely different in how it plays to me.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I wasn't because this is part of why I wasn't sure what you were going to say about this game because
Hmm.
I knew you liked those Mario water levels, and I was like, I don't know, he's some kind of freak who loves water, so maybe this
Hmm.
game will make sense to his fucked up brain. Like I truly never know what the fuck you're going to do or say. um, but water levels are, I feel like, not quite as infamous per se as an ice level in a video game. But it's a similar thing where a lot of, especially platformers in the 90s, you had your grass level, you had your desert level. Inevitably, you always have a water level. Oh, Sonic had water levels, but again, you didn't see them.
Hmm.
So, yeah, it always is a thing of the physics are going to be a little different, gravity is different, your movement is different, do you have to get air or not? And I find that they're generally quite challenging compared to the main game because it's a your brain has been accustomed to moving in one way and now you're switching to a different way and you have to
Mm.
kind of relearn the controls in that moment.
Yeah, I guess
Um,
I'm not accustomed enough to moving in a different way.
right. Right. You never learned anything, so it doesn't.
Yeah, so I'm like, "Oh, yeah, this is also kind of difficult, but not noticeably more so, just different."
Yeah. You are frustratingly
Um,
stupid.
yeah, so, I mean, my difficulties with this did come more from part of it was that you do tend to drift forward and backward, like, not up and down like you would in Mario, but, like, if I don't if I don't press anything, I'm staying still, but if I move to the left, I start moving to the left. If I let go, I drift a little bit
It's
farther
like
than I
pressing on
intended
the
to.
gas of a car a little bit, as
It
opposed to
is like
like,
that.
it's not like every touch is all your movement. It's like a touch will push you a little.
Yeah, yeah, that is part of it. I also there were a lot of times where also like Echo moves quite fast at times. Like he's capable of moving extremely fast if you want him to. Um he doesn't have to. You can move him slow, but sometimes you don't want to do that because you have to make a jump or you have to get back to the air or something like this. Um so like that can also be a problem, and there are times where you have to jump from one pool of water to another over some land, which means you have to make that jump. So you have to be going fast enough to make the jump. You have to hit the angle, so you can't accidentally go straight up. You can't jump too early because then you won't make it. You can't jump too late because then you'll ram into the thing. You don't have a lot of landmarks to time the jump by because it's just blue water the whole way. And also, you don't have a lot of variance in the paths you can take because there might be enemies in the way that, like, if I were to try to angle it over top of them, I can't make the jump, and if I were to angle it through them, then I would just hit them and stop, so I have to go around them to make this jump. It was definitely like there were times where I had difficulty with that sort of thing. Getting all of those elements right without that like visual indicator of like there's the tree I jump at or something. I also found the darting attack that you do to be very weird because like you don't start attacking until a decent amount of time after you've pushed the button because you have to like charge up and lunge, but you don't keep attacking for the entire time you're lunging. So there were times where I would lunge in to attack enemies and just get hurt by them as opposed to hurting them. Right? Like this happened all the time, constantly. Like it was maybe like 2 out of 3 if the attack would work, and 1 out of 3 I would just get hurt instead.
You kind of just have to spam it, I think. You just have to like keep
That
just
sometimes that
smashing
works.
charge.
That works if it's working. But like the problem is if you get to a point where you accidentally line yourself up such that like they hit you and you spam it, you're just going to get hit by like all 3 of them in a row, but if you hit the first one, you'll hit all 3 of them in a row or something. Like it's very weird. The
Yeah,
spacing often worked that way for me anyway.
I do think usually the best course of action is to just avoid enemies altogether. Sometimes they will come after you and you have to take them out or
Mhm.
they'll never stop.
Mhm.
And again, this does, if you do get that upgraded sonar, it helps immensely
Yeah.
in that
Yeah, I
regard.
can imagine.
Even
Yeah,
though it still is sort of annoying because it's not just your
mhm.
sonar. You have to hold your charge and then press sonar while you're charging up.
Mm.
So it still
Mm.
takes a little finesse to do.
I see, I see. But yeah, I mean, like I often did still do it because it cleared out safe zones for my movement where I was just like, "Oh my
Yeah, but
god, the movement is so difficult to get through here and if I
right.
don't clear them out, I'm going to hit them 5 times. So
The
I just
problem
got to clear
is
them out."
they in some areas then they
Yes.
respawn when you blink. They
Yes,
come
they
back
will
like
do that. So
immediately.
yeah, so you have to be very careful about how far you moved if you want to do that. Yes. Yes, I was aware of that.
It's very annoying. This is where I think some of what you're saying is where I found some similarities to Sonic, where like when I was saying about Sonic about how it felt like, man, when you're really in it and when you
Mhm.
know what you're doing and you're going super fast and you're going through the loops and you're jumping at the right times, it looks really awesome and it feels really awesome. But then if you don't really know what you're doing, you kind of got to take it slow, and you got to watch out for enemies, and you got to be careful. And Echo felt like, especially early on, it felt to me like it has that capability, or that potential, I guess I should say, where, oh man, when you're like flipping, when you build up your momentum and you shoot out of the water and you do a flip and then you go back and then you're going even faster and then you shoot out again and do another flip. That feels really cool and feels dolphin-y and feels fun. But for most of the game, the problem is if you like hit anything at all, your momentum is immediately cut short. An enemy, a wall, a rock, whatever. And honestly, most of the game isn't really even built for that. It's not like Sonic where
Right.
you can do that if you like know where to go. Most of the game you're underwater and you really don't. The only reason you want to go fast is because you're going to run out of air. But in terms
Yeah.
of navigating the levels, there's enemies and stuff all over the place, and you're more likely to get killed if you're not really, really careful about it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so when I was saying there are some, I also at the top of the level was saying there are some similarities to Sonic, and I was thinking basically the same thing as they. One of the biggest similarity is that the game moves fast, and like it sounds very simple, right? To just be like it's like Sonic in that it's fast, but there is like the way in which the screen scrolls through the environment, your character feels like it has this unbelievable motion to it. There is this very real sense of extreme speed you get that feels um, similar to Sonic, and I was wondering how much of that is them saying like, "Hey, can you make Echo run faster so you get that same sensation you get on Sonic?" And how much of that is just like, "Well, the Genesis was built to do this, so we're doing it." I wasn't sure. But yes, as you said, in Sonic, we had a slight disagreement over whether it felt like okay when are being forced to slow down with Sonic, it feels bad, as opposed to like that's supposed to be the motivator to play it again because Sonic's supposed to go fast. I don't get the sense playing this that Echo is supposed to go fast, right? He can go fast. And if you're good at the game, you can go fast. And there are places where it's easy to go fast and those are places for you, but like you go fast in order to play around, right? If you're trying to complete levels, you are not supposed to do them fast. You're supposed to, right? You are in these like claustrophobic underwater caverns. There's danger around every corner. You shouldn't be
Nailed it.
zipping around, right? Echo is taking things very cautiously. He's going as slow as he can, right? Like that's you don't think of Echo as this character that just zips through danger like he doesn't care.
Right. Probably not. I mean, do we have a sense of Echo's personality? I
I
don't know
mean,
that I do.
yeah, I don't know. Through the way that the game is portrayed, I don't feel like I'm when I play a Sonic level slowly, my thought is I should play this level faster because that's how I'm supposed to do it. Right. I got to come back and practice it once I know it. But with Echo, when I'm playing it slowly, I'm thinking, yeah, that's how I'm supposed to do it. So in that sense, Echo seems like he does that, you know?
Sure. In the Ludo narrative sense.
Exactly. Exactly. I knew if I said it, you'd get mad, but see, I let you say it, so then now you're not going to be mad.
It is kind of a methodical game in that sense. But again, there are parts where because you're short on
Hmm.
air, you can't dawdle. You got to keep
Hmm.
moving. So it is a weird balance I found of like similar but in a different way from Sonic of going slow quickly,
Hmm.
being careful but not slow, I guess.
It's interesting because I I didn't get to any parts where I really felt urgency about my air, to the
Yeah,
point
maybe
where I
this
had
is level 4.
yeah. I mean, there was a part where I did run out of air, and the level is specifically designed so that like you barely have enough time to get from air pocket to air pocket. But when I was doing that, I was like, I know where my air pockets are. I know how long it will take me to get there. I already know I'm going to run out of air, but I will have enough health, so it's fine, right? Like at no point was I like, Oh my god, I don't know where the next air is. I've just got to keep. I can't get back to the last one. I've got to hope it's in front of me. I got to go fast. Like that never really happened. I was always just like, yeah, I know where the air is. I know how long it takes to get there. It'll be fine. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
It
when
could
you're
just be because it
doing
was early, but
it is. When you're doing
okay.
later levels, they're more complex layouts, and you don't know, especially when you're doing them for the first time, you don't know
Mhm.
when you're going to get another air pocket, when you're going to be able to breathe. Sometimes you got to like go all the way back to where you started to breathe or whatever.
Mhm.
Sometimes even in the first, like maybe you didn't do this part, but there's a part when you need to rescue a dolphin or in one of that early level where you, in order to leave the area, I don't know if you saw starfish and played with them at all.
I don't think I did.
Boy, I wish you did, because then you'd have another 20 minutes of getting mad in this episode.
I probably would. Yeah.
Maybe unless you didn't know they're starfish, because to me I thought they looked like sea urchins. They're like a ring of, they like swim in a circle, and they're just these little starfish.
No, I
And
don't
they're
think I saw him.
and it's the same exact thing as everything else in this game, a block or a spike or whatever. You use them to break a barrier.
Oh, you know what? I saw that on my echolocation, but I didn't quite figure out how to get through to them.
I think you'll
I
also see
saw a
this.
ring of things that I could use. Yeah.
I don't know if you watched the demo videos at the start of the game, but I think they also show you.
Oh yeah, they do. I did watch the demo videos at the start of the game. Yeah.
But you have to move the starfish with your sonar. And they also will disappear after a certain amount of time. And there's this one area where you rescue a dolphin, then you have to go over to the right, get in position, shoot the starfish with your sonar over to the left again. Then you have to like shoot them down a little bit or up a little bit and then to the left. And you have to do it fast so that before they disappear. And also you're running out of air, but you have an extra dolphin. When you have an extra dolphin with you, if you run out of air, you just lose that dolphin. But then if you lose the dolphin, you got to go get the dolphin again. Then you got to go back to the starfish again. And throughout all this, there is no air pocket because you can't leave this area until you get the starfish to break those rocks. And anytime these starfish showed up, I was pretty much pissed off because it was always very irritating to moving them with the sonar is not very precise.
Mhm.
And it's very easy in some parts to move them, just a little too far, and now they're in a wall, and that's it. Like you can't,
Yep.
you're done. You got to go back.
Yeah, I mean, I had this exact problem with other things before that. There's like a spirally shell that you
Yeah.
use to get clear rocks, which I'm not gonna lie, it took me a while to even realize that's what it did, as opposed to something else. But even once I figured out that it cleared rocks, I could not consistently get that stupid thing to clear those rocks because like it falls onto this ledge right below the rocks. There's a fucking ledge that it stops on, but if you push it up to the rocks against the ledge, it clears the bottom rock and you can't get through. So you have to get it over before it hits that ledge. And once it hits the ledge, you're basically fucked. You might as well knock it off and then go deload it and come back and reload it. And like I wasn't gonna die because I would go off screen, go get the air pocket, come back over. I swear to God, I was on that for like an hour before I got it the first time. And again, remember, this is immediately after the section that I said I was an hour and a half in and had to go look up the walkthrough. Immediately I was here and I was like, I guess I'm supposed to go through those rocks, but I don't know how. And eventually, I guess I'm supposed to play with this conch shell. Maybe the conch shell's not for those rocks. Maybe it's for something else. Maybe the rocks are. Oh, wait, it deleted the bottom rock. Okay, I just have to get it over before
Deleted.
it hits. Couldn't do it. Couldn't fucking do it.
Yeah, I mean, I did spend a lot of time on this early level too. Probably like an hour, but on that part, not on the part before it. Like I
Well, the
said,
hour and a half was the total gameplay up to the part before it. But
right.
including the level before, which I also
is
had
nothing.
trouble with the glyphs on the level before because the glyph that says, so you get to the end of the level, there's a glyph, and if you try to ping it, it says you can't pass yet. You have to like find the other glyph. Except the first time I went there, I had already found the other glyph, and for some weird reason it didn't. I don't understand why it didn't move. So I was like, that can't be the glyph I'm looking for because I already hit it. And so then I was just like completely lost until I did try eventually going back. And I went back and I hit it, and then I went, and then it moved, and then I went to go surface for air because I didn't know that was the end of the level. And I came back, the glyph was back, and it wouldn't move until I went all the way back and hit the glyph again. It was just a nightmare getting through that the first time. Like, if you don't do it exactly right the first time, everything about the game. And by the way, when you get these glyph powers, that like it shows you a little signal that shows that something happened, but it doesn't tell you what happened, and there's no like marker to track that you have done it or if you've lost it or how that works. So everything in the game is just completely unintuitive. If you look in the manual and you ask and you say like, what about these glyphs? How do they work and how do you get past them? What the manual says is there are glyphs, you'll have to figure out how they work. Thanks. Helpful.
Well, I feel like that might also be in the demo videos, at least a little bit.
I'm not sure that was. I think the demo video messed me up because the first thing they show you doing in the demo video is pushing a rock around, and the first thing you have is the open pool with nothing to do, and all you have to do is jump really high into the air, but there are rocks blocking your escape, so I got stuck on it for a while thinking I was supposed to move those rocks, but had no idea how it could happen. Like, at every single point, literally before the game even started, I was just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, and I don't know how to do it even if I did. And also, even if I did know how to do it, I can't because it's hard to control. The game was completely baffling to me at every level. I'm honestly proud of myself for getting as far as I did.
So for you, this really was a puzzle game. For you, this was like Myst. This was like
yes, yeah. Every single thing about it was it was just a bunch of stuff that doesn't seem to do anything.
I did run into this once or twice where I swore I got a glyph and then it didn't unlock the next part, and I was like, I can't. How is that possible? I do think it's like very specific. You just have to. I don't know. Maybe if you just touch it in just the wrong way or something, it doesn't quite connect. Or maybe it's just a glitch. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the thing also, after I used the power from, it did do the thing where when I swam off screen and came back, it like respawned in and I didn't have the glyph power. It would be nice if getting the glyph power made you like glow or something until you've used it, so you know if you still have it or if you don't have it yet, or like, oh, I got something, I should be trying to do something with this.
Yeah.
But it doesn't do that.
And the fact that, yes, like it is annoying that, you know, if you destroy a barricade, a lot of the time, although I don't think all the time, but most of the time, it will be gone if you leave and come back. So you can't be like, oh, now that I did that, let me go get some air and come back, like you said. No, like you better go through there now because otherwise you're going to have to do that entire puzzle again.
Right.
Which I don't know if that is just due to memory, like lack of memory on the Genesis, or if they thought that was made it more challenging, or if they just didn't think about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Another thing, the thing that I found most frustrating really when it comes to the controls of Echo is the jumping. Jumping over islands specifically. Sometimes you have to jump out of the water and over a barricade or an island or whatever into another section of the level. And trying to get the correct amount of momentum and jump at the right time at the right angle, I found so fucking annoying. There's a lot of footage of me failing a lot of jumps. And I think you kind of said this, but I think part of it is the fact that this is a full screen game. It might be better, you know, if it were widescreen, you could just see more of your environment.
Yeah.
But I almost never could I figure out where am I in relation to the thing? Because you got to get like a running start.
Yeah.
You go up and then I'm like, oh, too early. Oh, too late. And then again, you'd think like with Sonic, because sometimes there will be like 3 or 4 of these islands in a row. And with something like Sonic, oh, I built up my momentum, and now that I'm in it, I'm going fast. I go through one loop. Here comes the next loop. You kind of get a little bit of even if you eventually will hit an enemy, they'll give you like 12 seconds of fun, right?
Mhm.
But in Echo, you make one jump, you can't, unless you're like, I guess, better at it than I am. I could never then use the momentum I had built from the
Yeah.
first jump to transition into the
Yeah.
second. It was always dead stop, and now I got to start from square one
Yeah.
again.
So you absolutely on the ones that I checked, you absolutely can, but you have to change your angle. Like it's not just like there's enough room to like angle over the jump and then gently go down and then angle over the next one. It's like you have to like make the jump and then sharply angle down because there's not enough room to make the next jump. But if you sharply angle down and then back up and do it exactly right, for sure you can. I just like I just could never quite do it in one go. But
Yeah.
it is like a you need to already know what you're gonna be doing type thing.
The one thing I found that later, much later in the game, that I thought maybe helped was I had been holding the A button, whatever it is, and Genesis had weird
C, I
buttons.
think.
But I had been holding a button to accelerate. It makes you go
Mhm.
faster. And then I was like, oh, I think it's actually better if you're trying to do a jump or something to rapidly
Yeah.
tap it.
Yeah. They said tap to accelerate and then hold to maintain the accelerated speed is what
Yeah,
I
well,
was doing.
that took me a long time. I did not get the message about tapping until
Mm.
late in the game.
Gotcha.
So when I finally locked into that, I was like, well, that's a little better. It's still not great, but it is
Mhm.
better. Now, there is one section. God, I wish you had maybe, because this is a password game. It would have been fun if you had just
Mm.
put in a few passwords to just see some of the later levels.
That's true, I could have done that, but
But that would go against your pride or something. Your
I wouldn't
I
really
don't
feel like
know,
I was
your
playing to the
code.
later levels, you know?
Yeah, of course. Anyway, eventually there's a level where there is a giant wall you have to jump over.
Mhm.
This might be the worst designed thing in the game, in my opinion. You start the level. If you go down, there's a current, so there's a block that you need to use to push through the current.
Mhm.
And then you can go to the left, you can go to the right. There's like some stuff down there, but they're both dead ends, and there's actually nothing down there.
Mm.
It's
Mhm.
completely irrelevant. What you're supposed to do is jump over this huge wall to the right, higher than any wall you've ever jumped in the game up until this point. And if you don't clear like half of it, on your jump,
Mhm.
it will push you back to where you were.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, that would have I would not have figured that out.
The only reason it felt like every part of the game was telling you like that's not something you can do. The
Yeah.
only reason I knew you could do it is because I read a guide. What do I do? And it took me like 100 tries to get over this fucking wall. It's crazy to me that this was allowed to be in the game. There's no indication. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing
Mhm.
that says go to this wall. It feels like you are doing a glitch for a speed run to like break part of the game. Because why is there a rock
Yeah.
that lets you go down when there's nothing there? Like this was really, I thought the game developers are trolling me. They're fucking with me now. And I don't like that. I had a similar thing. There's ice levels right after you get out of the early section, you get to an ice world.
Hmm.
And you actually can jump out of some holes and then you slide on the ice to go to other sections of the level. And I also had to look this up because I had no idea you could slide on the ice because that was not something that you'd ever done before.
Right, yeah. No, if you land on land, it, like, knocks you back into the water.
Right. So I was after going in circles in the same level for like 20 minutes. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Was
And I
there
just jump. Oh,
Mhm.
okay. Yeah.
With the ice, there wasn't, like, any sea life you could talk to that might hint at it. Because sometimes there were a couple points, like, in that very early level, for example, when I thought you had to move the rocks, there is a dolphin in there that if you talk to him, he asks, like, "How high can you jump?" And all you had to do is jump really high to progress, in the game.
Yeah.
So there
No.
wasn't any like whale or killer whale or whatever.
Nope. Not in that part. Not in that
Okay,
part.
okay.
Yeah, there are a few animals you get to talk to and things you get to talk to in the game. Yeah, there's the ice section. Let's get into. We're kind of getting into the story of this game, which
I didn't really experience it.
Yeah. I was gonna say I really.
I mean,
you don't even
like I
know
said,
the
seeing
half of
other
it.
people being like it's hard and not having gotten far, I was just like, yeah, I mean, oh well, I guess the story is locked behind it being too hard. It is what it is.
I mean, the story being, it's still every once in a while there's dialogue, but
Yeah, right.
basically, so the way this game begins is your pod gets swept up in like a cyclone. And you don't know where they went, and the whole game is you, Echo, trying to figure this out. And I'm now going to spoil the plot of Ecco the Dolphin for any listeners who don't want to know. But eventually, or maybe it's early on, someone says you got to find the blue whale, and the blue whale knows about. They
call
this.
it like Big Blue or something like that.
That's right, the Big Blue.
Yeah.
So Big Blue is in the ice world. You talk to the blue whale, and the blue whale says, well, I don't actually know, but you know who knows about stuff like this is the oldest creature in the sea, the asteroid. Like, oh, okay. All right. Where's the asteroid? Well, you find the asteroid, and he looks like a big DNA spiral, like the Mr. Helix from Jurassic Park or whatever. It doesn't have a face. It's just like that, and you can talk to it. And an asteroid tells you, "Oh, you need to go to Atlantis." Okay,
sure, yeah, why not?
So you go to Atlantis. And they have all these glyphs that tell you the history of their people. And this is where you learn the story of the game. That Atlantis was at war with the planet Vortex.
Okay.
There's an alien race that can't produce food on its own. But every 500 years, they align with Earth. And when they do, they suck up life out of Earth's oceans to nourish themselves. And there's all this stuff about this war with them. Okay. So how does Echo take care of this? Well, here's the good news. Atlantis, the Atlanteans, they built a time machine. And so you need to go through Atlantis, find the time machine. It will send you back to the prehistoric era. Then you fight another version of Asteroid and get one of his orbs to like refill him in the present day or something. When you do that, he gives you powers, whatever. Then you go back in time again to the beginning of the game, only this time you get sucked up in the cyclone, and then you go straight into the alien ship and you fight the aliens.
Okay.
It's such a complete 180 from the beginning of this game that's like, wow, it's like, it's sort of fantastical and stuff, but it feels like sort of fairly realistic sea life. No, they just couldn't help themselves. There's aliens and shit.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, the moment you named your dolphin Echo, I knew there was going to be some new age bullshit. I'm not going to lie. I would not have called that a cyclone. If you had asked me what happens to your pod at the beginning, I would have said alien abduction. Because there's weird flashing colors and you all get zipped up into the sky and his name's Echo. And I would not have guessed the rest of that plot. But I would have been like abducted by aliens or some shit. I don't know. He maybe astrally projects.
I got to tell you, because we touched on this last week, but according to the creators of the game, the name Echo did not come from John C. Lilly.
Yeah, and I don't believe that at all. There's too much of a coincidence. I don't believe that coincidence is controlled.
Well, no, I don't.
And when you put When you put fucking Atlantean alien new age bullshit into your game, like, I'm sorry. No, I know what you are.
But I still think it just comes from echolocation. Like, it's not that inconceivable to me that they would have just thought, oh, Echo. And he says it's because he's Italian, and the name change, the spelling of it is like also means something in Italian.
Yes, very specifically part of Lily's Echo thing is that the phrase ECCO, if you turn those into words rather than letters in Italian, it means some bullshit or other. Like, that's a thing that Lily himself said is part of the thing. Like, it's a coincidence associated with the coincidence control office. But like, I 100%, I know what this guy is. I don't believe him.
I believe him.
He's covering.
I believe him. I don't know why he would cover. What does he have to be afraid of? What does he think? What do you think's going to happen?
He doesn't want people to think he's some kind of weird dolphin pervert.
This was the 90s. Everybody was a weird dolphin pervert back then. He wasn't going to get canceled. Like, there was no Twitter. Who gives a shit? Listeners, you'll have to decide what you think about that one. Anyway, it's the game is fucking crazy. The storyline of it is absolutely it's madness.
If you had told me that there are no aliens whatsoever in this game and he just goes through the ocean and then said it was a coincidence, maybe I'd believe you. I'll tell you that. That's not what you told me.
All right, we're moving past that.
Okay.
You've made your position clear.
Go the dolphin.
You're a cynic. You're a skeptic. I believe people. Yeah, I believe Ed Annunziata.
Okay.
And I also think you're sort of racist against Italians.
Maybe a bit.
Sure. Can't blame you on that one. Now, but it is wild the way the story unfolds. You do get to go back. So my experience, my trajectory playing this game, I spent a lot of time in the sections that you spent a lot of time in. And there was a little bit where I kind of thought, maybe this is the game that maybe I don't really get further than even you did this week. Mm-hmm. And maybe I cut my losses here and this is it. At some point, though, I was like, no, let me put time into it. That's when I just looked at a guide and I was like, let me just figure it out. How do I save these fucking dolphins? And then once I have like the sonar powers, I move past the dolphin rescues, we can just play some levels. I'll just see what happens. Mm-hmm. So I made it that far. And at that point, I was looking at, referencing like what levels are coming up, how many levels are there, what's going on here. And I'm like, all right, well, look, I got to play until I can at least see the dinosaurs. Because this is telling me there's dinosaur levels. And I was like, I got to get there. And you get there and there's a pteranodon that you can call and it picks you up out of the water and carries you. You don't actually get to see dinosaurs. You see undersea,
Sure. Mosasaur or whatever.
You don't even see a mosasaur. You see like, I don't know what they are. They just look like ugly eel fuckers.
Ugly eel fuckerosaurus.
Yeah, something like that. You don't get to see like actual cool undersea dinosaurs, whether or not they're dinosaurs. I don't care.
Yeah, don't fucking write.
I think you're like shit. Pre-dinosaur era. You're like, you know what I mean? You're like, this is like old.
This is like Dunkleosterus.
You're seeing like trilobites and shit.
Right.
I think that might be it. I think that might be what it is.
Right. This is Cambrian, Precambrian, that shit.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a pteranodon. I don't know when they came around.
That would be a lot later.
Okay, well,
that doesn't go in that era.
Yeah, I don't know. But there's aliens, so you know what? Maybe we're wrong about what happened.
That's fine. Were there any Mercora? Did you see?
I didn't see any Mercora, no. Nor Atlanteans. They're all dead, I guess.
It's kind of interesting. Because they were dolphins in Animorphs when they went back in time to the dinosaurs. Do you think maybe this was an inspiration for Megamorphs 2?
Honestly, or even the message. I mean, you also talk to whales in this game.
Yeah, I mean, the psychic stuff, we all know what that ties back into, but the time travel stuff's a little bit more specific.
Sure.
It's less universal.
Anyway, then I got to the dinosaurs and I was like, well, I gotta get to the aliens. Like, I gotta at least see the aliens.
Mhm.
And this part is also really annoying because the second time you go back in time, you have to. They just make you play 3 levels again that you already played. Like, they're not different. It's the same levels. It's just, it's like unabashed filler, shameless bad. Also, there's a boss fight with the asteroid that is just ridiculous. You have to, again, the only reason I know how to do it is because I looked at a guide, and even then it was hard. You have to hit like 4 of its orbs of the same color. It doesn't tell you that. There's no way to know that.
No, of course not. I mean, this is why it's a puzzle game. All the mechanics are a mystery, and you have to figure them out. That is sort of a puzzle game.
That's how you make a puzzle game. Just make a regular game, but then don't tell them anything.
Yeah.
Every game from the 80s is a puzzle game. And so then I did see the aliens. Now, the final 2 levels of this game, I think, are sort of infamous. Eventually, so once you get the power from asteroid, you no longer need to breathe air. And you also regenerate your health every once in a while. So you're thinking, wow, I'm in good shape now.
No. I would not think that. I would be terrified given how much of the game that I experienced was about just like, okay, make sure you know where the air spots are and the things you need to do, and then like have route a paths between here to the, like, saying we're gonna take that mechanic away entirely makes me worried that the game might become something entirely different and much more difficult in a way I'm not ready for. Would be my assumption.
Well, the last 2 levels are called The Tube and Welcome to the Machine. And they are auto-scrolling levels. So, Echo, the camera is moving you through whether you like it or not, and you have to avoid obstacles. The Tube is not so bad. You are being sucked up. It's still hard. You have to avoid a lot of things, but a lot of them you can destroy. And then eventually you can kind of brute force your way through. Then this Welcome to the Machine level, I gave up on it. I didn't beat it. It is so fucking annoying. The camera is moving not just from left to right, but up, down, diagonal, different ways. And there are different paths everywhere. And sometimes, depending on where you move, the screen might move in such a way that you're crushed. And so you have to start again. And it was like, oh, the only real way to know what you're doing is to memorize the paths you're supposed to take. And the whole time, aliens are attacking you. You can beat them with your sonar, which is nice, but sometimes they'll kill you. And they're everywhere. And the entire level, according to one thing that I read, takes about 6 minutes to beat, which is supposedly, I guess that's the same length of time as the Pink Floyd song, Welcome to the Machine, which the level is named after. Cute.
That is cute. I like that.
Fucking infuriating. I tried a bunch of times on this level. I just gave up. I was like, fuck this. I did use a password to then just see the final boss, which comes right after it, which, by the way, if you lose at the final boss, you have to do the machine level again. Even putting in the password to skip right to the boss, if you die, you go back to the machine level every time.
That's great. So you just
6 minutes.
reset the game and re-put in the password is what you actually have to do.
Yeah.
That's really annoying. Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. I mean, I will say, listen, at this level of looking stuff up, I would have just watched a video of somebody playing it. Like, at that point, I'm like not even doing it.
Well, I don't know. I wanted to see it. I wanted to try doing it and see what it was like. And
I might do that though, honestly, because I do kind of want to see it.
Yeah, well, the final boss, it is I mean, I don't. You might guess the aliens. They basically look like a cross between a xenomorph and Cthulhu. I feel like everyone who was making video games sure fucking loved aliens, right?
I mean, yes, that's true. Yeah.
Contra,
but also,
Metroid.
Come on. It's Ecco the Dolphin. There's going to be aliens.
This is only you know that. Only you know
Everyone knew that.
No.
This is what every single time you see psychic dolphins or dolphins attached to aliens, and it's more times than you fucking think. There are a lot of examples. They're all coming from the same cultural hub.
What are the
There is an
other
association.
examples? Name other examples?
I literally already did last time. I was talking about So Long and Thanks for All the Fish. That is from that. This is a thing.
That doesn't. Okay. It's only you. Most people are not thinking this.
That is because it's 2020, whatever year it is.
In 1992, everybody you think was like, there must be aliens in this game.
I think that in 1992 there was an association between dolphins and New Age stuff, which involves psychic stuff, crystals, aliens, Atlantis, that kind of thing. Yes, I do think there was an association between those things.
Okay, I think you're wrong. For the average person.
You're not an expert.
I'm not saying there wasn't an association. I'm just saying most people weren't thinking about it.
I think that a lot of people who are into dolphins are vaguely connected, or were like more likely to be connected to New Age-esque stuff, right? Stuff that's aesthetically New Age, crystals, tarot, that type of thing. If you were a 90s dolphin person, I think that there was absolutely a cultural overlap, and I think that the people who were making games like this were 100% deeper in than the average person experiencing the game.
Okay.
That's my opinion. That's what I think.
I think you're a weird, terminally online freak who has friends who know dolphin fuckers.
This is pre-online. This is all pre-online, man. This is what the freaks were doing before they got the internet.
Yeah, but they kept it. They couldn't spread it as far as they can now. That's the difference. That's why it wasn't as widespread.
Well, now that there's online, this is less of a thing. It's different weirdo freaks now. It's not. This is all old. This is the internet brought in a totally new breed.
Don't use the word breed.
Yeah, I mean, all right, but as far as the story goes, yeah, I mean, I did talk a lot about the mechanics and the puzzles, and so did you, and you're getting into the story, which brings us to the other thing about this game, which is kind of just like the environmental aspect of it, the experience of playing it. The atmosphere, sure, yeah.
The ambiance.
The vibes. When I was saying earlier, I think one of the things that a lot of people remember fondly about this game is legitimately probably like, I loaded up as a kid, I jumped around in the first level, I didn't know what to do, but I got to jump around as a dolphin. And I remember that really fondly. I do think that there is something to be remembered very fondly there, right? Like, Echo does move relatively smoothly if you either know how to control him or there are no obstacles. Like when they just put you in a giant empty pool and let you do whatever you want, it does feel exhilarating to move around with Echo, to swim in circles, to do jumps out of the water, and the ocean scenery looks nice. Like the graphics do look good. They move fast, and the soundtrack is quite good. It like the like sound of the game. I don't know. There is a sense of immersion. You do get the sense of being a dolphin in the ocean. And I could easily imagine a kid who could not beat the first level on this game spending hours just going back and forth in that opening pool and having a great time and being like, oh, I loved that game. I had no idea that I never even saw an ice level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's something that we have brought up, or at least I have brought up with other games of this era, but yeah, why not? It can be repeated. But there was a different attitude. If you were a kid in 1992, you weren't necessarily as frustrated that you couldn't beat level 3, or that if it took you, like you said, oh, it took me 90 minutes to get to that part. As a kid, you're like, well, that's okay, because guess what? This is the game I got for my birthday, and this is my game for the next 6 months. So I'm actually happy about that. Wow, I went to my friend's house and they showed me level 5. That's crazy. I didn't know there was a level 5. I'm going to go home and try to get there and see that too. It was, the obscurity of it, I don't think was necessarily perceived as a negative. Um, I
Yeah,
feel like I
but
got
I do think
sidetracked.
I do think that there is something like specific to this game, right? Because like you were saying that about like, all of these other games, Sonic and whatever, I don't even know, whatever. But I think in this game there is like in those games I can like, I have to put myself into the mind of some kid who doesn't mind who just thinks that this is how it's supposed to be, that I can only do the first level or something. But in this one, I think that there is a, like, joy in just existing in the world of the game that isn't in something in some of these other games, there is a defined goal, and I'm trying to do the goal, and it's fun to be in the game world, but I am trying to do the goal. Whereas in this game, yes, there are goals, but if I'm not working toward that, it's kind of fine, right? Like, it's kind of fine to just be in the game and not be doing anything.
Yeah, it kind of feels like you maybe are playing a Windows 95 screensaver. It does. I mean, it is graphically impressive, especially for the time. It does.
Mhm.
At the time, I'm sure people were like, "Holy shit!" It's like I'm watching National Geographic. Like this looks real. And very few games were attempting to depict underwater life in any kind of realistic way, the way this sort of looks. Paired with this music that was pretty cool and uh, people would have liked at the time, would have felt pretty advanced and fun. I think there is an aspect of it that's almost like I got my money's worth because I got to show people this game and their minds were blown seeing, wow, look at this on the screen, this dolphin, and wow, you can like swim through the ocean and the water splashes and it shines and the fish swim around you and you can eat the fish. Wow, this is like a crazy thing look how far video games have come from Space Invaders. I think the
Yeah.
visuals and the sound go a long way. Long way.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 for
Towards
sure. And it feels like there's some intentionality there too. Like the even just the fact that you get this big open pool, the first thing you do before the game even starts, that you just get to swim in almost does feel like a nod to the idea that, like, listen, most of these levels you have to move very slowly through these tight constricting passages and figure out this stuff, and it's dangerous. And what if you're a kid and you just want to swim around? Well, that's what you get to do when you load up the game if you don't put in a password, right? Like, it does seem like they are more aware of the idea that maybe what you want to do when you pick up a game isn't play a game, it's just be a dolphin.
I also really appreciate that opening level, and it's part of the reason that I think a lot of the rest of the game kind of disappointed me is when you just play those opening levels, I think it is really
Mhm.
good at introducing the world and the story. And it's very atmospheric. And yeah, there's sort of dialogue when you can ping a dolphin, they'll kind of talk to you with some text on screen. But for the
Mhm.
most part, it's really almost Super Metroid like, a game we haven't covered yet. But it's almost like a story told through environment more. And it feels like, wow,
Mhm.
I really feel like I'm living this story and I just saw my dolphin pod get taken away. I don't know why. There's like a
Mhm.
mystery here. I want to uncover this. It does a really good job establishing that and making it feel like there's some kind of adventure here. Also kind of a creepy, it's something I saw a lot of people talking about who played this game as a kid was that it scared them as a kid. I don't know how much of that
I
is just, people are like have phobias of deep sea stuff.
I was gonna
Um,
ask you about that because I didn't really get much of that, but I wasn't sure how much of that is, sometimes you'll be like, I get freaked out when I'm in a dangerous spot in the video game, and I'm just like, oh, I don't know, whatever, I died, oh well. And I was wondering because, like I said, like especially around the part where there's an octopus, eight
yeah,
arms.
yeah, yeah,
And you
yeah,
have to go
yeah.
very slowly past eight arms because if you don't, he'll snag you. And you have to go all the way up to get this thing and then all the way back and then all the way back up and back again, and you do not have enough air to do it, especially if you are moving very slowly. um So, like, you have to route you basically have just barely enough air. I was thinking about that there, and I was thinking, I can imagine this combination of the giant octopus that will eat you and kill you if you move too fast that you have to sneak past, and the, "Oh, no, I'm running out of air." I could imagine this combination really hitting somebody's, like, phobias, right? If you're claustrophobic or you don't like the ocean or you don't like octopuses or something, like, for me, I was just like, "All right, I gotta go." So, "Ooh, look, it's an octopus. I love 8 arms. Look at him. He's a big octopus. I'll be fine on the air. Maybe I'll run out and take some damage." Like, it didn't bother me, but I didn't know if maybe that was my own weird not putting myself into the video game enough, or if that was, I was curious if how often you were feeling that kind of, like, sense of, fear of a big thing or claustrophobia or whatever.
I was too busy being pissed off to be scared. Getting past that octopus, I was just like, "Fuck you, fuck you, god damn it!" And just didn't have any room in my
Mhm,
brain to be in
mhm.
awe of the eeriness of the environment.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I went past that octopus, I was pissed off because I was going very slow and it wasn't slow enough, and I was like, "How fucking slow do you need me to go? God damn!" But then it was fine after that.
I think a lot of the fear also comes from it is just sort of the isolation of it.
Mhm,
Again, similar to Metroid, that you're alone. You do get to talk to a couple of whales and some dolphins, but
mhm.
most of it is like, oh, you're by yourself in the unforgiving ocean. I sort of get it, but yeah, I didn't personally find it particularly scary, but
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
understand.
I mean, like, and maybe this clears up later, but especially through all the parts that I was in there, I mean, there is something to this idea of, like, you are a dolphin, which you picture as having this massive open body of water with free access to air all over the top in a pod. And that's how you start the game. And then almost immediately you're forced into these tiny little tunnels where you can't swim very fast or you'll get hurt by things. You don't necessarily know where the air is, and even if you did, you have to manage it very carefully. You're not with anything, like, it is constricting, it is oppressive in that sense.
I mean, that's another reason I feel like in some ways the opening that I think is great also sets the game up for failure for me because in the beginning I'm like, wow, this is exciting. I get to jump and have fun. And then never again does that ever happen.
Mhm.
It's like, well, that kind of sucks. Like it's like they give you this taste of what it could be. And that works great from a storytelling perspective, but from a gameplay perspective, it's kind of a bummer that
Mhm.
the rest of the game's not that fun.
Yeah. You're the kind of person who's like, "I don't like horror movies because 'cause they're too scary."
No, shut the fuck
They're just
up.
kinda
Shut the fuck up. But it's like again, it's like if Sonic started you off with a big. I mean, it kind of does do that in Sonic. I kind
Mhm.
of said that about Green Hill
Yeah,
Zone.
I mean, in Sonic, it's worse, and like I said, in Echo, like, I'm I get the feeling that Echo, it's not like, well, Sonic, because Sonic's the kind of guy you expect him. He always goes fast, even when he's in danger. He just zips through the danger and doesn't get hurt. But Echo, he's vulnerable. He's out on a limb here, right? Like, he's gotta. So I don't really feel like I'm doing it wrong. I feel like I am following Echo's story as I'm supposed to be, when I go from that freedom to that, like, oppressiveness. Whereas with Sonic, I'm just like, oh, well, because I went from that freedom to slowing down, that means I'm not playing Sonic well enough. Because he wouldn't do that, you know?
Yeah. Well, you and Sonic are buds. You know how he is.
Me and Echo, too.
Listen, I think we should get to our final thoughts and IGN ratings for Echo the
Mhm.
Dolphin.
Echo the Dolphin.
What say you?
Um, yeah, so, okay. So, Echo's an interesting one because so much of it's so weird to hear you say that you don't really consider a lot of it to be puzzles, and because, like, maybe you're right, because to me it does feel like a puzzle game. In many ways, it feels like Echo is a lot of different genres in one, and it kind of doesn't succeed in that sense. Um, as a puzzle game of, like, oh, where am I supposed to go? There's a maze. Okay, I've got to find this and then go over here. I've got to manage where the air pockets are. I've got to bring the rock to this spot. Um, there are too many weirdnesses with not even knowing what you're supposed to do or having it be difficult to control or just strange glitches that I think really um make it kind of not do well as a puzzle game. As an adventure game, the fact that so much time is spent on these weird trying to figure out what would be a puzzle or being stuck in one spot or looping back over and over kind of makes it like I feel like that would take away from the excitement of going on an adventure. Just as a like open world dolphin sim where you get to jump around and stuff, the fact that you get thrust into this gameplay kind of takes away from that, as you said. There are a lot of good elements to all of these things, but they don't quite come together into anything in particular, and they're all kind of undercut by each other, or just by the game being clunky or unintuitive, or even too difficult in a way. Um, so on a gameplay mechanic or on a gameplay basis, I do find that it doesn't really work exactly. That being said, um, there is a lot to be said for how it feels to play the game, how it feels to be in the game. um you move so well. You're in the ocean. This was like a dolphin mania time for sure. Like people loved dolphins like more than now. Like 90s was like peak dolphin fever, um peak ocean fever, even with like Baywatch and whatever.
Mm,
um like people
Flipper.
liked this stuff, right? Yeah, exactly. SeaWorld, people still liked SeaWorld back then.
I still like
um
SeaWorld. What's wrong with SeaWorld? Did I miss something?
Wonder what that could have been. No, the soundtrack being so good, the environment feeling so good to be in, the movement on Echo when you get it down and you can do it. It feels good to be a dolphin, and this game does nail that.
Damn, it feels good to be a dolphin.
Yeah. So like this, it's not Pac-Man levels of I like the little guy and I hate the gameplay. I like a lot of elements of the gameplay. There's too much going on and it all, you know, fucks itself over, and I do love being in it. So I am going to rate it higher than I could for a game that I just like couldn't get anywhere with and often found myself being frustrated doing simple tasks and saying it commits cardinal sins and all that sort of thing. Um I think that I want to rate Echo the Dolphin. Eh, you know what? I'm gonna give it a little dolphin bump because I'm a dolphin guy. I'm gonna give it a 7.3.
Wow. It's pretty high.
I was thinking about going lower, but I was like, you know what? I gotta be the dolphin guy.
I think
I,
you're
I
getting
gotta I
soft in
gotta
your
give
old
it.
age.
Maybe I am getting soft in my old age. You never know. I like being a dolphin.
Um, for the record, I do think that people at the time and probably the developers themselves would consider this a puzzle game. It's more, they're like environmental puzzles, I guess,
Mhm.
in that you have to figure out like how do you maneuver things in the environment to get to a
Yeah.
certain place. I just found that there were the puzzles themselves, the not the doing of them, but the figuring out what you needed to do, there was so simple at a point that it was almost no more a puzzle game than Wolfenstein 3D is a puzzle game because you have to find a key to
Mm.
open a door. It's like,
Like
it's
once
just
you've seen all of them, the first time you see them, it's completely inscrutable. But there's only like 6 of them or something, is what you're
yeah, I
saying.
think there's like two of them. It's like either you find a glyph and then you touch the other glyph, okay? Or it's like, see this thing, need to make it hit that wall. How do you do it? Like push it this way or that way.
Well, there's
Like
also
that's
rock
it.
through a current, conch
That's
shell
push
into a
thing.
rock.
That's push thing into a
Yeah,
thing.
but it's a specific thing into a specific kind of thing. Like it's not just a wall. And sometimes that might not be like there might be a current that you can't get through. I don't know. Maybe I'm being overly specific. I feel like you're
Yeah,
being too general.
I mean, this is the problem with even the term puzzle. There's so many different kinds of puzzles.
Right.
Like a puzzle game could be Tetris, or a puzzle game could be The Witness. It's like I don't know. What does it mean? What does a puzzle mean to you? Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. Doesn't matter. What matters is what I think about Ecco the Dolphin. Here's what I like about Ecco the Dolphin: the graphics, the music, the world building. The story is insane, but I like it. I like that it's insane. All that stuff I think is really good. Here's what I don't like about Ecco the Dolphin: pretty much every other aspect of it. I think it is very frustrating to control. As you said, very unintuitive, although maybe in different areas than you had trouble in. I frequently ran into areas where I needed a guide to understand how to get through. Everything kind of looks the same in a given area. It's hard to navigate. It feels repetitive. Things do change as you progress through the game. There are some different environments and things you encounter, but for the most part, the whole game is go through maze, find glyph, go through maze. That's pretty much what you're doing from start to finish. And I did not find it very compelling. I found it, in fact, quite frustrating. To the point where, I almost always beat any given game we're doing in a week. And this week, even when I was sick and tired, and I made a real effort to sit down and play through this whole game. And there were a few points where I was like, I think this one is not, I think maybe this is as far as I get, because this just is so fucking annoying. I even thought like this might be one of the few games where when Will tells me he only made it to level 3 or whatever, I actually won't be mad at him. So I am, and to be frank, based on your attitude, especially early on in this episode, I'm shocked that you gave it that high of a score. I don't think it deserves it. I think it's a game that looks and sounds great, but plays pretty badly. And I think I'm maybe even being a little, any positive score I give this is solely from the presentation. And it's not strong enough to make up for the annoying gameplay, in my opinion. So I'm giving it a 6.
Okay. I did consider giving it a score in the 6s. You know, I do think that I wonder if you beating it made it worse for you, because one thing about this is that I literally never used the password system, not because I didn't get far enough, but because when I started the game up, I was like, if I use the password system, I'll go have to play the frustrating part that I can't get through again. But if I don't, I'll get to swim around in the open area free again. For a couple minutes, which is what I actually want to do. And I wonder if part of the reason why this got elevated is because like this is one of the first games that puts me into the mind of the little kid who can't beat level 1 but still loves opening up the game and playing it a little bit. Like this is what is that game, like Endless Ocean or something, where you just go around in the ocean and look at fish? Like this is like to me like a precursor for that kind of thing, which is a game where it's like there's no point, you just swim around in the ocean. I like those things.
Yeah, let me sit you down with Welcome to the Machine for an hour, and then we'll see how you feel about this game.
Yeah,
you won't come out smiling.
No, I mean, listen, I as I said, like I was thinking about this in terms of Pac-Man, of like the game, except that in Pac-Man, I was like the gameplay is not particularly compelling, but I like all the little guys, and here it's like I fucking love the presentation and just being in it, and the gameplay. There's some compelling elements, but like it's so fucking frustrating. Yeah, if I had to do Welcome to the Machine, I probably would be like, fuck this game. I do think I would rather watch someone play through this game than play through it myself. No question.
At a certain point, I was trying to beat it out of spite. that was my primary motivator, was just fuck you, game. I'm gonna fucking beat you, you piece of shit.
So
How's
my
bad?
attitude of being like, it's bad, I don't want to do it, paid off maybe for my enjoyment.
Yeah,
Just give up on this. This sucks.
yeah, I guess so. Interesting contrast. I am curious for any listeners or viewers, if they played this when they were kids, if they had which side of this equation they're on. If they also
Mhm.
only ever got through the first few levels and liked it, or if they got farther and still liked it, or whatever. I don't know. Um, we can kind of try to glean some of this from looking at past reviews in our segment Retro Review Corner.
Yeah, let's retro some reviews.
Again, people loved this game. People loved this game back in the day. It is a little confusing because this was released on so many platforms. There's a PC version, there's a Sega CD version, there's a Game Gear version. So sometimes I'm looking at reviews and I'm like, which fucking version of the game is this? But we're mainly trying to look at Genesis here. And EGM, it got editor's choice in EGM magazine. I guess the M stands for magazine.
Yeah, why
anyway,
not?
anyway,
Editor's
uh,
choice, huh?
yeah. Out of 4 reviewers, it got 1.9 and 3/8. Uh, this says Echo is amazing to play, or should I say, experience. It really does give you the feel of being a dolphin, though the challenges you face and powers you wield are far from realistic. The quest itself is well laid out, and the challenge is just about right. It is a
Mm,
great addition to anyone's library. Remember, dolphins are mammals too.
what the fuck?
I don't know. This
What's that
guy's
about?
excited about dolphins.
I bet you thought they were fish. Let me
Uh,
tell you.
this this blurb says this was the top secret game that Sega was raving about, but not showing anything. I think there had been kind of like a hype cycle for this beforehand.
Mm,
They were right, as this game deserves all the praises that we can dish out. Everything from the animation to the
mm,
quest to the sound and
mm.
graphics is almost perfect. The idea is new and innovative. The hot Sega game this month.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, I was really on board with this review when they were saying it nails the feeling of being a dolphin. I'm like, that's what I love about it. And then the quests are well laid out. The challenge is just about right. What the fuck are you talking about? Hold on.
People
Hold
had
on.
different standards back in the day, you know? Here's another review from CVG. It's Computer and Video Games, a UK
Mm,
publication, of course.
mm,
This person says the first thing to hit you about Echo is its incredible graphics. They really are stunning. Animation is beautiful, and the ocean atmosphere has been captured perfectly. The music is suitably soothing, and although some of the sound effects aren't the best ever, they add
mm.
a fathomable depth. I guess that's a pun. In
I
terms of
mean, technically,
gameplay,
it's a pun.
Echo stands head and dorsals above anything seen in recent months. It
Shut the
starts off
fuck up.
difficult and gets harder, but you'll be so pleased when you eventually work out the puzzles. Some will have you swimming around in circles for ages as you try to figure out such things as how to rescue the little dolphin without going past the octopus.
What?
Echo may seem a bit wet at first, but believe me, once you've dived into its amazing depths, you'll never look back. This
This person's not as clever as they think they are. I'll say that.
this really reads to me like this person also didn't get past level 4.
Yes, it does read to me that way. Yes.
There's another like in the same magazine, another person has their little opinion. And they talk about how when they watched someone play it, they thought it looked really dull and boring. But when they played it, they were like, "Oh, this is actually really good."
Hmm.
Overall, I got a 94 score from them. Look, I'm going to say it. I think everybody in the 90s was just tricked. I think they just fell for the great graphics. This was like one of the first graphics over gameplay games.
Mm.
And people were like, "Oh, it looks so amazing. How can it be bad? It's so pretty, and the sound and the colors and the lights." And modern standards, no, it's just fucking annoying. It's not good.
I do see where you're coming from, but like there is something to the sound and the graphics and everything because they aren't just pretty. They do bring you somewhere. I don't know. I am giving it the dolphin bump though.
Yeah, that's bullshit. It doesn't deserve it. I'm pissed.
Well, it would be worse without a dolphin bump. It's got a dolphin in it. How could it not get the dolphin bump?
I'm pissed. You gave Metroid a 3.9.
Yeah. It was miserable playing
it's
Metroid.
It's complete bullshit.
I didn't have a good time playing it. In Echo, you know what I got to do
You didn't
before
have
I
a
played
good
the
time
game?
playing Echo. Don't lie.
Before I played the game in Echo, I got to jump around in a big pool. But in Metroid, I had to go in a fucking shaft. What would you rather be in? Would you rather be stuck in the shaft or in the giant pool that you get to swim around in with your dolphin buddies?
Let me tell you, man, this game has shafts. This game has fucking shafts.
Yeah, but they don't stick you in them at the beginning.
Yes, they do. Yes, they fucking do. Not the first 12 seconds. That's all you have to defend this game.
That's the first 12 seconds of fucking Metroid is the shafts.
No, it's not. It's horizontal. Dumbass. Play the tube. Play the fucking tube. And you'll be begging for shafts to come back. You know what? I'm an Ecco the Dolphin hater. Fuck Ecco the Dolphin. Fuck this dolphin and fuck all dolphins.
You know that I will.
I'm glad. I wish that you could still kill dolphins and eat them in your tuna fish. I want to fucking eat a dolphin right now. I want to beat the shit out of a dolphin. Fuck these pieces of shit. Everyone's, oh, they're so smart. Oh, fuck off. They're not that smart. They're stupid. Punch them in their fucking fins. Pieces of shit. Orcas should be eating them. We should keep them in captivity. That's what they deserve. Force them to do little tricks for our amusement because they're little assholes.
Do you feel a bit better now?
No. I don't feel good at all. Now, I do feel, like I said, they have announced a remake for this game. I don't know if that's actually still happening or what, but supposedly. Mm-hmm. And I do think a modern remake of this game could easily solve all of my problems. I shouldn't say easily. I mean, you'd have to rework a lot, but I'm imagining this framework, but make it widescreen. You don't even have to do much to the graphics, but they probably will remake those too. Give you more, how about a fucking map? Just give you a map. How about this? Let your air last longer. Just make it a little nicer to actually let me vibe in the environment and not be stressed and annoyed. And then I can enjoy this game.
I didn't get enough parts to speak on the air because I didn't have problems with that. But I mean, you use the echolocation map, right?
Yeah, but it sucked. It was never, I never found it helpful. It was just like, hey, when you go down, it's at a dead end. I could have figured that out by also just going down. Like, I'm going to explore every area anyway. So it almost never helped me.
Interesting. Yeah, I skipped areas if I could see that they were a dead end by echolocation.
Yeah, but you don't know if there's going to be, there might be something down there that you need for a...
Well, they show you on the echolocation that, there's little markers that tell you what's there.
But the amount of time I have to wait for the thing to bing, boom, load the screen, load out, I could have gone down and up already. It's not that different. I don't know. I found it annoying.
Better echolocation map, better. I mean, for me, what would have improved it would be slightly more manageable controls, streamline that a little bit more and more sea creatures to talk to.
Redo them completely, in my opinion. Fucking from scratch.
But yeah, more sea life to talk to would be a big deal because I do, again, this is part of the most enjoyable factor of the game is swimming around in the ocean. So having some things that you can talk to is a big deal for just not only the environment, but also they can tell you what to do so you're not confused, right? When you're like, what the fuck is this glyph? What the fuck is that? What is this wall, right? You can have somebody say I don't even know. I think there's something over the wall or whatever. Who knows what they say? Who gives a shit what they say? But you can put those clues into what they're saying. I liked talking to the animals. That would be my big thing.
Yeah, it definitely needs more clues. I do think you got to be a little careful with that because I do think part of the atmosphere is that there isn't that much. You don't want it to be like an RPG all of a sudden where there's on every screen dolphins to chat with.
Yeah, no.
But once in a while, just give you just like a little more hint. I think honestly the controls are like 90% of my problems. Most of the game, I just felt like I was fighting the controls, and that's what kept me from being able to enjoy it. Just give me a little more. Let me fine tune that a little bit. Give me more precision. I'm always trying to just move like right here and aim right just so. And no, I moved a little too far, and I got to move a little bit back. It's fucking annoying.
Yeah,
combat is annoying.
Yeah, I feel that.
Like, make that shit a little smoother, a little easier. This shouldn't be like. Why does this need to be the tough as nails game? Only because it came out in the 90s and every game was that.
No, you're right.
This isn't like some games, like, sure, Mega Man or whatever. It's like, I get it, but I feel like it's at odds with the presentation here. I think this should be a relaxing adventure, not necessarily relaxing, can still be exciting, but it shouldn't be I'm getting punched in the face constantly. It just doesn't need to be that. I don't know, man.
That's how I feel about Mario.
Yeah, and you're stupid. Because Mario's not that hard, dumbass.
Got about as far as this as I did in Mario.
You got about as far as this than you did in every game.
Yeah, well, so it's not that bad, huh?
Makes no difference to you. If I give you fucking Hop on Pop or War and Peace, you still can't read.
I beat fucking Monkey Island.
Yeah, well, guess what? That credit's run out. I'm no longer proud of you for that. The goodwill is gone.
All I'm saying is this game can't be that hard, or I would have got shut down a lot earlier than I did in Mario. It must be about the same difficulty as Mario. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Well, it is if you don't know how to, if you can't, like, it's like you said, if you don't know how to control any game, then you don't know when controls are good or bad. Like, how do you know? If you don't have taste buds, you can't tell if a meal is good. We don't really have any emails this week. I will remind listeners and viewers you can comment on YouTube or email us badwithgamespodcast@gmail.com to let us know what you think about Ecco the Dolphin. I would really like to hear from fans of this game to defend it. Like, am I crazy? Are we both crazy? Is this like a lost gem? Not even lost. People still talk about it. Is it of its time, and has it not aged well, or do people still think it's good? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I do suspect people are going to be agreeing. Like, even if you loved Ecco as a kid, you're probably going to end up agreeing with both of us and be like, yeah, I loved Ecco as a kid because I only swam in the pool and I didn't try to play it. But you're right, as an adult, as a game, when you try to play it, it's not good. I suspect that's going to be universal. I mean, let us know if that's not what you think. That's what I'm really interested in, is anyone who doesn't think that. But
yeah, we want to hear from you. I didn't do a song either. The songs were last week.
Yeah, go check out that episode. I mean,
I did.
You must have, right? That was part 1. Well, you're going to listen to part 2 and not part 1? Dumbass.
I did like getting to the levels where I got to hear the music I used in my dolphin rap songs.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, that's where the song I used came from. So that was kind of cool.
That's pretty exciting.
Listen, there's really good stuff in this game. There's good stuff. It's just buried in all this fucking annoying shit. All right. Ecco the Dolphin. What are you going to do? You want to know what we're doing next week?
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know what we're going to do. I need to know. You got to tell me.
Well, first I'll tell you that over on the Patreon at patreon.com/badwithgames, we're deep into K-April, and this week we're going to be discussing K.A. Applegate's book, Wish Tree. You're going to want to check that out. $5 a month gets you a bonus episode every week, plus our Discord channel. A lot of fun. And next week on the main show, we're going back to the 80s, and we're playing the sequel to a game we've referenced this episode, Mega Man 2.
Whoa. That's
That's right.
exciting.
The
A
back half
sequel.
of this season, I will say, is a little sequel heavy.
That's okay.
There's some new
We've
stuff
set
too,
it up.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
in some ways, sequels could be better, right? Because it'll be something I've had experience with rather than something brand new. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe I'll like it more.
That's yeah. Well, that could be an experiment that we, just like with Zelda 2 and Mario 2,
Yeah. Right.
how that worked
Right.
out for you.
Yeah, exactly.
But next week is Mega
Right.
Man 2, and that should be fun.
I think it'll be fun.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Dolphins out.